And so I actually played a bit off screen. Don't worry about it. I leveled up a little bit. Despite that, I did level up and everything, right? That did all happen, and it did not, in fact, just not do it because it was just... It better have. Like, I have no guarantee that it did. I guess all these upgrades kind of speak for themselves now, don't they? Yep, they do. I'm kind of thinking about swapping in another melee weapon. But which would it be? I'm happy with most of these, except... I guess I kind of want the Ravenback. I don't like this, though. I don't like this either. Don't want to melees. Ugh, so much to consider. But yeah, I play with this a bit. You know what? We'll just see where today goes and takes us. Which means going to a blue mission, if I remember correctly. Nope. We gotta do some other stuff first. I'm playing it on the difficulty mode too. But apparently, we're further than I was in my original playthrough. I guess I ended around here. But I am lower level, which is strange. They might have changed things since then, since I think I played the game close to release. Who knows? Who cares? I don't care. It's irrelevant. It's very much irrelevant. Well, another mission where not much of interesting stuff happens. I think I should know it. I'm just gonna... I'll be back in a bit. I've set the difficulty mode to something else. See how that pans out for me, huh? See how that pans out for me, huh?
Hi, I'm away. I'll be your acupuncturist today.
The satisfaction this weapon has given me is immense. Yeah, I don't like this gun. In fact, a lot of like the mid-range assault rifles are just completely uninteresting. They're not exciting, as it were. There's no zest and zeal in them. They're kind of there. Well, this playthrough ain't 100% complete, so, yeah. I'm gonna go and take care of this off screen. As ever. I finally know why I hate these designs so much. One, they're pretty thin. They're pretty hard to hit too. They do a lot of stuff that just moves you around, and as I mentioned, forcefully moving the players around. Something you want to avoid in enemy design, unless positioning is particularly important. Here, it just feels frustrating to deal with these things. They block. They're just not fun. They're extremely disruptive at best. Those are pretty tough for what they are. Like, if you're going to design an enemy like this, you want to give them some sort of weakness, but what is their weakness? They have pretty much everything. They're the complete package. Maybe everything is the complete package. Just having I know crawlers are weak. There are definitely, like, lower-tier enemies. The game just thinks that they're stupid. Hates them. But again, if you were designing a game like an adult, if I may, then you would have what's called enemy design, and you would have environment design, and you would have fight design, and you would design around the strengths and weaknesses of enemies and the environment, and you would make those encounters interesting, instead of me just fighting a bunch of these annoying enemies without anyone to back them up. And I'm just like, okay, cool. You'd be way more interesting if there was something to worry about, and you were like 1 out of 2? And you were like a mid-tier enemies, or you were used sparingly instead of being the entire fight? Look at this obviously evil chest. If you're attentive, you may know a problem. Notice a problem. There is no indicator on my map, yet I must collect more items. I have no idea what happened or how this happened, but I think it's because the game at some point unloads. It unloads what it knows about. And I think we're at a point where it's decided to unload. It's unloaded effectively the fight. The locations. They're in some other area and the game doesn't really care. So I'm basically giving the big old fat classic shaft as well. I need to remember that I can parry, but it's like such a it would be better if the fights were tighter, you know? It's one of those things you're not going to give a shit about when all you do is hit things with your stick. And now I don't know where the fuck to go because the environments are completely forgettable, randomly generated garbage, and the map decided to unload it. Great design, guys. I'm so happy that after making one of the tightest FPSs, you've decided that this is where your money should go. I think it's just not here and I need to reload or something. Which would be the dumbest shit in my life, to be honest. Especially since I'm already not interested in this dumbass side mission that they decided to tack on for some reason. I love every enemy and how they all do exactly the same bullshit, where I have to account for them just randomly dodging all over the place. Like, this is just unfun. Did they think the original game was too easy? That there wasn't enough enemies moving around, making the fight frustrating? Because that was not the problem. The problem were the enemies that you decided to duplicate more than anything. And I don't even know where to go. Again, this is entirely preventable by doing this thing called make your own fucking custom content. Or, you know, you randomly generate stuff, and then you... I guess that's something that they do, in a sense. You randomly generate content, and then you sort of posthumously tack on all the things that need to happen. Sort of like you get the best of both worlds, as it were. You get the ease of content generation of random stuff, but you still curate it to an extent. I don't like how... Why are they resistant to this? Why is that the one thing you gave them? It's just so goofy. I like how absolutely nothing happened. And I don't know why. He just seems to be immune to damage now. I love this. I love how every single time I have a complaint and nothing more. Remember the original game where I was like, man, this is nice. And I was super excitedly just scared of that. Oh, that's why, probably. Where I was super excitedly scared of that one fight with the Berserkers. And it felt like something, and I felt like I had a heart, and there was something throbbing in my chest that kept me alive. It was great. Despite my best efforts, I could not find a fourth one, so I'm just going to assume that that's broken. And we'll try it again later. That is, by the way, the worst this game is. You know what? We'll just wait until we're past that point. But I think I'm gonna rewipe my opinion as this game's ass. Holy shit! I'm not happy about that at all. If you can't get your random generation to crank out what is necessary for it to work, then I don't know. But you failed. You failed. Don't even try. Like, why did they go through all this effort anyway? Like, why was this what they wanted? Borderlands doesn't do random generation anyway. Like, despite all the hardcore aping of a genre that it isn't and shouldn't be, I don't know. I'm just annoyed. I'm just very angry. Because my time was wasted. Just like with the booby ladies who bump into me. It's just, you're wasting my time bumping into me. And bumping me around like it's somehow fun. It's not fun. It makes for one hell of a chaotic mess, but it just means that this game drastically benefits AoE-based weapons. Maybe you'll get a couple of situations where... Oh, I already found Butcher Skin. Am I done now? Ugh. Oh, yes, I actually got one for free. What the fuck is wrong with this game? I show up to work and I get told, by the way, you've already done part of your job. And I don't like it say is, thank you? Thank you. Thank you. You know, the skin, often identified as being a big, meaty organ. Sure. Jesus Christ. Did they even care at this point? Like, I know content isn't developed linearly, but... So I notice now that the tumors are tier-based, which is very out of place in a game that otherwise tried you pretty free-flowing. Funny thing I noticed is that this game gets increasingly worse the more difficult it tries to be. Whereas in the other one, I was excited to play on higher difficulty modes because there was a challenge that I could prepare for, and learn to handle. But here, all I'm thinking about is booby ladies! The game trying its darnest to appeal to me. I really don't know what they were thinking by having an enemy that has tiers like this. There's a question that no one ever asks, and they really should ask themselves this question more often. What the fuck do modifiers even do? Like, on a contingent hold, what does a modifier add to a random scrap like this? Now, the answer to that is universally nothing, because you're not in an environment where you can make the kind of smart and sensible decisions that are necessary for that to matter. If an enemy's slightly more defensive, what does it mean? Well, it just means I have to count my bullets slightly more carefully. It doesn't fundamentally alter anything in an interesting fashion, and that's something that I hate. It just makes it take longer. It makes it slightly more frustrating. It makes all the knowledge you picked up completely meaningless. Because modifiers are just how games work, alright? That's all they got. On a good day. I bet you're wondering what you're missing, right? Don't forget, I'm a Doom veteran. I have earned my stripes. I played the first game on hard mode. I've beaten Ion Fury on the highest difficulty mode and 100%ed it. I have my FPS credentials, and I am not just not having fun, I just want to stop playing. I think, because I know that when I'm done here, I get to go home, and I get to sort through an inventory full of garbage that I'm not interested at all. This game is going to earn a most prestigious award for me. I don't just not like it. I'm going to remove the buy link under the description of all future videos. Because normally I do that because I think, you know what, you're going to look at this game, you might like it. You might want to buy it, you know? Here you go. Here's how to get it. But I think this game does not deserve that. It's not honor, it's not a distinction. It doesn't deserve the courtesy. Because everything this game has done so far has just proven to me that it doesn't know what the fuck it's doing, how to do it, why, or anything. It's just white noise being pelted into my face for some reason. I'll give this one more shot, but I am very close to just never, ever playing this game. I think hell consists of this game being kind of what you gotta do. I'm terrified of that. So many of these arenas are just so messy. With such god-awful sidelines. Which would be cute if it was intentional. But I bet you it ain't. It's just, this is the map they decided to go with. And I can't appreciate any animations. I can't appreciate enemy designs. There's just no room for that interpretation, that appreciation to form. And I really hate the big guys with their dumb axe trick. It's cute when there was a focus to it, but now that it's all loosey-goosey, it just doesn't work as well. Again, it becomes frustrating because there's no arena, concerns, or anything. At most, I'll fall off a cliff. But even that feels like it's more of a glitch that happens than anything else, given how every arena is so tight. There's an old saying, why should I be excited if even the game can't be excited? And I think there's a root of truth. So we might ask, what does that mean for the game to be exciting? Well, the game doesn't present anything with too much pomp and circumstance. Even the biggest, flashiest item gets the same boring you got it notification that everything else does. The game can't be excited. Why should I be? It's not that a game has to present everything with the grandest of pompadours and the greatest of reveling, but, you know, a little bit of energy would work. Like, the map shows them as bigger icons, and look, they got the bigger, brighter beam, but that doesn't mean much if it's the exact same, you know, you put it in a little altar. When you get the chest with the rockets in it, there's a whole cutscene. It's like, oh man, look at this cool chest with a rocket launcher in it. It puts a little emphasis on the weapons that you acquire. It makes them feel special. You meet a new bad guy, every time it's like, oh man, it's a new bad guy. I wonder what he does to make his living around here. Also, what's really weird is I kind of miss the flying guys. They weren't great,
Not whiskey,
but the fact that you had a clear, distinct, ranged enemy was nice. You know, trying to pay the mandatory health tax of getting hit with a couple of idiots to achieve exactly nothing of interest. I remember playing Doom and my first playthrough was just the most... It wasn't great. It wasn't a fun experience. But this feels different. There's just something about this game that just isn't as fun, isn't interesting, doesn't grab me, doesn't do it for me. Feels empty, hollow, vacant, and just meaningless. And I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, it's distinct, discrete, measurable. And it's leaving a big fat shit stain on my soul. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Just like with Borderlands, the quests don't have context, because who fucking cares? You might as well get going. The job's going to take you a while anyway. Yay, backstabber.